Hey, it's Doc Jen, and I want to talk about a common problem and complaint that I hear a lot, which is I stand for long periods of time when I'm working and I start to get a lot of achiness into my back. Or I hear a lot of people also complain when I get out of my seat and stand, I get a lot of back pain. Now, if that's you, comment below. Are you getting pain either when you're standing for long periods of time, or do you get pain when you just first get out of your seat and you're going to stand? Now, I'm not going to quite talk about that just yet, but if that is you, comment below. I need to know who you are so that I know people actually need this. And if you haven't, please subscribe. There's so much more information that we have here. My husband and I have our PT Pearls that we talk about different diagnoses, and I talk about different pain points. So many videos. So there's so much to explore within this channel. Now, today specifically, what do you do if you're standing for long periods of time? Now, I want to make sure that you're not just standing with locked out knees, okay? Now, what this means is your knees would lock back just kind of naturally. Now, as you can see, I kind of come to an end point here, and I don't lock into a hyperextended position, but I know a lot of people do. So it's easy to hang out there. It's easy to hang out on our ligaments that have hold of us so that our muscles can just relax. However, a lot of times what happens if I stand with a hyperextension, my hip bones tend to then come forward here. And then so I don't want to fall forward. Then I just arch into my back and I get my upper back and my rib cage up on top. Now, what you can see what that creates here is a lot of tension and compression into my low back. So we want to first make sure that you're unlocking the knees. Now, you don't have to stand with a bend or in a squat position, but you just want to make sure, walk out your feet nice and comfortably. And can I make sure there is a slight bend? This might also mean that you shift your weight a little bit more towards your heels. When my weight is shifted toward my toes, I put a lot of tension. Again, my body doesn't want to fall forward, so I'm either going to squeeze into my thighs or I'm going to squeeze into my back here. Again, placing that constant tension into the low back. So first things first, you want to make sure that you unlock the knees and shift the weight just a tiny bit back toward the heels. You don't want to be too far off, but we do want to unlock and shift. Already what that does is it naturally is going to unlock my pelvis. So without me even having to think of tucking under or finding this perfect neutral pelvis or any crazy things like that, all we're doing is shifting the weight. Okay. Now, when I do this, I still can relax. Okay. My legs aren't tight and squeezing. Nothing has to be on, but all I'm doing is shifting. This naturally is going to help to place my pelvis in a more neutral position. It's also going to help to drop my rib cage so I'm not extended here and placing a lot of pressure into my low back. So just naturally kind of relaxes it, drops it. I can breathe. Now, other thing you want to make sure that you do throughout the day is just that you shift side to side. Okay. So that doesn't mean that you're hanging out on one hip completely, but it does mean if you're going to be on your feet a lot, especially if you have notes, say you're a nurse, you're standing, you're working, can you just lightly shift back and forth? Okay. This is going to help to offset one side, put a little bit more pressure on the other side, offset one foot, and give your body a chance to change positions. We always know that there's not one perfect position. We're not just going to be standing in a perfect, whatever perfect is supposed to be, but the best thing we can do is always switching and going to the next position. Okay. Now we also have a couple tools, techniques that you can use. Now, first exercise is just pelvic tilts. So standing again toward your heels, knees unlocked. Can you just tilt your pelvis forward, tilt your pelvis back? Okay. So I'm trying not to move from my upper back here, and I'm just allowing my hip bones to come forward and allowing my hip bones to come back, kind of squeezing, tucking under, and going as much as I feel comfortable. So if it hurts, if it elicits pain, then you wouldn't go as much. Okay. But again, all we're doing here is providing feedback to the brain to say, you're safe, you're good, there's movement, you don't have to be stagnant, and you can move. Okay. Changing positions. This is key. This is what the most important thing is to remember. There's not one perfect exercise, one perfect thing. It's just getting more movement and movement variability more so throughout the day. Okay. Other thing you can do, a lot of times what happens, especially if we stand on one hip or the other, we end up building up some tightness into the QL. So say I'm here a lot and I'm shifted my weight, I'm kind of compressing into my side hip here. Okay. So in order to open that up, we can do a QL stretch. So you're going to take your legs, cross it behind. And now I want to take my hand on the inside and squeeze into my hand. So I'm kind of pushing back into my hand as my knee is pushing into me. And then I'm going to reach up and reach over. From here, I take nice, slow, deep breaths. So taking a deep breath into my side, breathing in, breathing out. Let's just do 3. So try this with me. Keep squeezing those legs, because when we squeeze those legs, we actually add some stability to the hips so that we can add mobility above, which is where we're trying to get into in that spine. So breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out. And already I come out and I kind of see, ooh, there's a little bit more freedom on this side. It feels different than this side. So let's balance it out by doing the other side. So taking that leg behind, we're going to squeeze that leg in, again, adding that stability component so we can add mobility above. Breathing in, breathing out nice and slow. Think about taking your breaths into the side body. Last one. And all it takes is 3 breaths. I already start to feel like, ooh, I have increased range of motion, and I feel a little bit more freedom around the pelvis area and potentially into that low back to what you're feeling. So again, you can go to that pelvic tilt, and we just have one more exercise. These are just easy tips, easy cues that you can use and say, if you're working, can I just do some gentle pelvic tilts? No one has to really notice. It's fine. The QL stretch is a little bit more, but say you're taking a break, you're in the back room, you're not around a lot of people. What can you do to start to provide for your body? Last one I will say here is just getting some heel raises. So now we're adding some tension into the body by working from the feet. So I want to think of staying over the balls of my toes, and I'm just going to rise and fall. This is also going to disperse my pressure and my weight as well, which is kind of creating that weight shift. So I'm not automatically just on my toes, but I come up onto my toes and I come back. So I'm teaching my body how to find kind of more of a midline, making sure, again, I'm not locked out into those knees. There's slight bend coming up and down, shaking it out, and then resuming whatever you need to do where you're standing for long periods of time. So hopefully this was a little bit helpful. You got some tools that you can add in throughout the day to unlock your body so that you're not either resting in an extended position and putting pressure where it doesn't need to have pressure, but you're able to find access to find that freedom. And if you know that you need a little bit more mobility throughout the day, or you just need to add some different tools when you get home after a long day, make sure to check out Gen.Health, because we have a plethora of programs available so that you can help unlock that low back pain, unlock that knee pain, and so many different programs and plans that you can follow, and they won't take more than 10 to 15 minutes a day. So it's not going to add a lot of time and pressure, but it's going to add a lot of education and freedom within your body. So make sure you check that out. We'll drop it in the description below. And of course, if you have more questions, please drop them in the comments so that I know what you need. If you love what you're learning, don't forget there's so much more that I have in store. So hit that subscribe button, check out the other videos so that you don't miss anything and you continue to learn and feel amazing within your body.